Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the CRL. It is the B stream. It is Thursday night. You are here on the College Ball channel, and with you, Hunted and Squid. We've got one final matchup for you this evening out of the Western Conference. It's LSU against LSU.
Yes, you heard right. Surprisingly enough, Louisiana State is playing against itself. All right, they're not playing against themselves. They got two different teams, LSU Purple and the LSU, I suppose just LSU, on the official sheet, but I believe they're referenced as LSU Gold as well. The ones who are on top of the standings, if that helps clears it up. I imagine that many of you are already familiar with that LSU, so I think that'll be the one we go by. But, Hunted, for me, Louisiana State looking pretty solid in this matchup going into this one, but I have to say Louisiana State does bring some good stuff to the table that we're not counting for.
I mean, you joke, but legitimately both teams are very good.
Yes.
Both of them in playoff contention. Certainly LSU has locked up their spot. They're 13-1 on the season. This is their last game against their brother in purple, if you will. And LSU Purple, they're 8-5. Not the worst record, but it gives them a shot to the playoffs, especially if they can win this game. We'll have to see how it goes. But before we get started, let's take a look. We do have a tweet we would like to show you. Throw that up on the screen. There you go. Was trying to decide between hashtag CRL19 and football tonight. CRL won my favor. There you go, Squid. We're popular, man. We're more popular than football.
Is that what you call it? Sure, yeah. You know what? I'll take that. But I mean, if anybody's out there wondering what am I doing here, well, there you go. That should answer your question. We're better than football. Thursday night football. I wonder who even is playing tonight. I don't know. But if you want to tell us who's playing tonight for Thursday night football, hashtag CRL19, and you could let us know.
Yeah, we get like 20 tweets of people telling us who is playing tonight. Thank you so much for that, Squid.
If we get a tweet like that, we will show it. I promise you, because I want to know who's playing tonight on Thursday night. All right, we're back in. Let's get to the actual game. Sorry.
You are going to read all of them.
Oh dear, what have I done?
We are at game number 1 between LSU Purple and LSU Gold, and Purple will take the first goal. Purple in blue, gold in orange. Actually, that kind of makes sense. So that'll be a little bit easier to sort out. But it's Kernoin, I'm sorry, taking the first goal.
And yeah, let's just pack it up and go home there. LSU Purple definitely better than LSU Gold now. Unfortunately, actually, that's not the way that it works. We got the rest of the game to play, but I'm sure they'll be glad for the lead. Almost getting a second one, but Low Tech is there to send it away. T-Bait's going to continue this one downfield. The Chef trying to put his opponents in the cook zone here. Although I have to wonder if that's even moral to do to his fellow classmates. I think that are we gonna touch base on that now? Is it moral for T-Bait to put his own classmates in the cook zone?
Well, I mean, anything goes as Low Tech. He's got to make a beautiful touch to tie things up. Only 40 seconds in. Look at this play from Low Tech. That is a beautiful angle right there.
It truly is, but T-Bait's still trying to take it away regardless. But I do agree that the angle from Low Tech is nicely done. There's a reason why they're on top of the Western standings, as a matter of fact. They're in that 1 goal back to tie things. Kernoin getting that dunk against Low Tech. Riptide with the continuation, can't get it away from Sharp, however, and it'll drop down the midfield line with about a minute gone.
Drake trying to do what he can. This one's going to bounce in front. Sharp goes top shelf. 2-1 now for the Gold squad, and it's just a wonderful play from Sharp, not giving up on this one. Collecting and firing. Great angle, too. And again, we see the individual skill coming out from LSU Gold.
2 good angles now on the left side of the opposing net from the LSU Gold roster. Make you wonder if we're ever going to see a normal goal. Here's Low Tech pass to teammates. Did not even come close to making connection on that one. Riptide now trying to get this one downfield. Could not put it on target. Sharp taking him out for his troubles. Pass from Kernoin over to Brig, and it will be tossed up high. No luck. That one's sent away.
2-1, 3:30 to go. Low Tech fires and scores. Collects. He gets his second one of the game. 3-1 now for LSU Gold.
And again, a good angle from the left side of the net. Interesting pattern. I guess we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But in any case, you mentioned it, 3-1 now for the Gold roster. Teammate shot towards the net again on the left side. Something makes me think that we're going to see a lot of shots from the left side. Here comes one right now. Low Tech actually faking a riptide, but the 50-50 was still made. And it crosses the midfield.
You know, I wonder how much of I mean, Rocket League is such a mental game, right? And how different is a game against fellow classmates, potentially, you know, the team you scrim against the most in your B team or your brother team? How different of a game is it, do you think, for these players than everybody else?
Honestly, very hard to say. I don't have experience in that department. So that's a little bit something I can't speak to. And, so far, a rather dominant game for the LSU Gold team. Currently holding the only goal for the Purple squad on the other side.
As we approach halftime now, 4-1 in favor of LSU Gold. This one's going to fall down towards Sharp off the back wall. Low Tech plays it off the back wall himself. Greg comes out to make the play. No follow-up touch. This game number one, getting a bit out of hand. And this is the difference, I think, that we see between a team like LSU and a team like Nebraska. LSU, like you said, topping the charts in the Western Conference for good reason, and they just come out and play their game from minute one. They play with speed, they play with confidence, and they play with finesse. It's a little different than what we saw in Nebraska. They took a minute to get warmed up. They took a minute to really eye their opponent, and LSU don't seem to have that problem.
I really think it might come down to the individual skill aspect, because honestly, you can basically take a player profile of any one of the three, starting lineup members for the LSU Gold roster, and I mean for the entire roster as a whole, not just the starters. I mean, they got Ajax in the sub slot. So, I mean, for any one of these players, you got another, give them respect, and that is a perfect example of why Sharp taking out the last man to free up the net.
5-1 now. Minute 31 remaining. Only 3 shots from LSU Purple, and it's all Kern. See if he gets another one here. Trying to play this out in front. Low Tech cleared away. There's Riptide to turn. Now Low Tech towards Sharp. This comes off the back wall. Pops it way up. Low Tech allows Brig to take this one. Can't quite get underneath T-Bates. Riptide just out of reach of that ball. It's kept in the orange zone for now, however. Final 60 seconds approaching. 4 goals necessary. It looks out of reach. It could be 5 now. Sharp down in front. T-Bates, the small touch works. And it's 6-1, and this is just a clinic from LSU Gold.
And sometimes when you're cooking up the play, you don't have to go fast. Sometimes you just gotta take it slow and think about what you're doing. Chef Bates putting them in the cook zone. My goodness. Alright. Go with the slow play. Gosh. I have to say, wondering about this might make for an awkward topic of conversation. I'm sure that they've already met, in person, right? Being on the same campus and all. Imagine if LSU Purple only misses out on the playoffs by 1 series.
Well, I mean, yes. Yeah, you have to think about that, but these teams qualified for a reason, right? And as we take a trip to Brazil, first one of the night, Squid. This is actually the first time we've even come close to Brazil.
Yeah.
We find it. But, yeah, you think about that, but, the integrity of the league is the most important, right? You don't want LSU to throw this game. I'm talking about the Gold.
No. I was never implying that. I was just saying it would be a bit of an awkward topic. It's like, hey, sorry you guys didn't make the playoffs. We really crushed you though.
I mean, yeah, they lose by 1 match, but
yes.
if you are if you are LSU Gold, the counter argument to that is, well, you had 13 other teams to play against, and you lost to
14 other teams.
Yeah, I mean, you lost to how many of them?
Oh wait, no, you're right.
One more. So
you're right. I'm an idiot.
No,
right?
you're not an idiot.
No.
Just caster math.
All right. My goodness, I called you on your caster math, and then I thought I accidentally did caster math and called myself on what was not caster math. What have I done? I just
well, here's some caster math for you. 12 shots for LSU in that game. I'm sorry, I should say LSU Gold. 3 shots for LSU Purple, and it was all LSU Gold from minute 1 through minute 5. That was a clinical match. I would not be surprised if they come out same style of play, change nothing. I mean, there's nothing for them to change. It's been what they've done all season. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter that it's their classmates there at LSU. It has been everybody throughout the season. This is how they've beat them, and it's worked so well. And, it's their final game of the series or of the season. They want that momentum going into the playoffs, right? And they're doing it so very well.
Yeah, and you talk about how, they're just going to come out and do what they've always been doing, and that really holds strong, considering that they've only taken 1 series loss this season. I think that they can really afford to just play. It's safe to bet that they could just play however they want. It's probably going to work for them. So I guess throw it all on black and see what you roll. But moving now into game number 2, I have to say, we can always hope that somebody will stand up to LSU Gold to a reasonable extent, but I don't think hope is going to carry LSU Purple to a series victory here. It was a pretty dominant game 1 for the A squad, so let's see if they can follow it up. Oh no.
The Bates in the van.
Oh dear,
Got
is that
the
what I
chef
think?
hat on as well. It's the oh man, it's the Cook Zone van.
Yeah, now time out. We have to know what this is called though. Is it the Cookmobile? Is it the Cook van or like the Cook Zone van? We need answers here. Hang on, I'm gonna figure it out, Hunter.
Well, as you do that, LSU Gold, they take the lead early on here in game number 2, 1-0, only about 21 seconds in. We'll see if they can add on.
He's got the full kit and everything. He's got the chef hat. He's got the taco boost. He doesn't have the watermelon wheels, though. They gotta take a page out of Massacre's book. We saw him with the watermelon customs earlier. Disappointing. That's gonna be minus points in my book.
Well, hey, he wants to go for originality. We've seen them already, and the van gets a goal here. So obviously it works, and he did just confirm, Squid, in chat. It is the Cookmobile.
It's the Cookmobile.
So
Chef,
there you go.
The Chef Bates Cookmobile. I'm sorry.
He says the Chef Bates Cookmobile serving out fresh tacos.
Yes, this is the pinnacle of Rocket League talent, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you can obviously tell that this Gold team having fun in their final game of the season. Still out to a 2-0 lead early on in game 2. T. Bates almost makes it 3. Great save by Brig there. They can't break out of their own zone. It has plagued Purple for so much of the first about 7 minutes of Rocket League we've played in this series. And still the ball just hovering in their zone. It felt like we haven't been in the orange half much at all.
I honestly kind of forgot that the orange half even existed at this point, if I'm going to be honest with you, Hunted. That's how little we've had to see of it. Well, actually, we're going to get a little bit of action here. Break forcing that one past Sharp. T-Bates making the save off his back line. Riptide is not going to let it go. Still some life here for LSU Purple. They want a hand back in this game.
T-Bates off the back wall looking for Sharp. Solid touch. Break to Riptide. It's a ball for Low Tech. Can he get the double? Not quite. Oh, a bit of a double commit there, though, from the Gold players. We'll get back to the ball. Sharp. Great touch, but it goes right to Kern. Light touch towards the net. That's an easy play for Low Tech. Riptide into the corner. Some good offense now for Purple, but they can't quite crack the stalwart defense of LSU Gold. That's a great shot. Almost gets saved on the goal line, but it does find its way in. It's 2-1.
some good tenacity here for Purple. They know they still got chances. That was, I will admit, that was a very interesting recovery by Kerwin, but he made it work. Very well done. Well, Hunted, I think I was just doing the math real quick. Just crunching the numbers, looking at the spreadsheet that you so wonderfully provided. By the way, thank you, Hunted, for compiling a lot of the stats for CRL this season. Much appreciated. But I'm looking at LSU. They've played 54 games played this season before this series, and they had 179 goals for. That basically means that you can almost you can bet your bucket that they're going to put up at least 3 goals every single game. So that's not a figure you really want to be playing in. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
And another interesting stat, now that you mention it, about LSU is that coming into this week, they were one of 2 teams that had a triple-digit goal differential. And think about that, triple-digit. They had 101 goals more. They've scored 101 more goals than their opponents in 14 games.
Every single one of their opponents, we should mention. That is every single opponent combined.
Right.
Have not scored as many goals. My goodness.
And the only other team to have done that is on the east side in Akron, of course. So, yes. And the really cool part is both teams scored 101 more goals than their opponents in the series. Granted, Akron's only played about 11 series, I think, but they have been absolutely dominant in the East. So, either way, a cool little stat for LSU, and you can see why they have this stat. They play their game so quickly. They're so individually skilled that if they're not your favorite, or at least in your top 2 going into the CRL land, then you're going to be in for a shock.
And Sharp here to add a little bit more on to the end of that. 4th markup for LSU's gold squad now here in game number 2, and it is winding down now. A minute 22 left on the clock. And honestly, I mean, at this point in the game, it might be a little bit too late for the purple roster to make too much of a difference, because I mean, honestly, they can put up their best efforts, and they can get 1 or 2 goals by the end of this game, which is unfortunate because they need 3 or 4 to even win it out. So it's unfortunate there, but I mean, that's just what happens when you play against this roster of low-tech, Sharp, and T-Bates. And then again, I'm gonna mention it that Ajax also on the sub slot for this roster, which I don't think that'd make things much better.
No, certainly not. But regardless, I will say the bright spot for Purple, to me, has to be the play of Kerwin so far in the series.
Yeah.
He's got the only goal for them here. He's got 5 shots in this game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he had 3 last game. And those were really the only 3. I think the 3 of the 4 they took.
And he had the goal, the only goal they managed to put up.
Right, exactly. He's been activating on the offensive side of the ball. He's been making plays, but it's very difficult to find any kind of space on the offensive side against this team. But you love to see that out of a player who, in my opinion, is still kind of one of those developing talents who could potentially really tear up the CRL next season.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. He's playing on
another one.
There you go. Kerwin put up 3 out of 3 goals so far for his team in this series. But returning to my point, he's playing against the LSU Gold squad right now, as part of the Purple squad, which is kind of the unofficial A and B in the terms of like the separations. So he's kind of might be that next in line for if one of these players is unable to compete next season for whatever reason, be it graduation or they just don't have the availability. But I was just talking, actually, I thought it was a little bit ironic when I just thought about it. Ajax, obviously I mentioned the sub for the LSU roster, could probably be a starter, but he's kind of busy with RLCS, right? Obviously playing for B&B. And then you got UA in Arizona, who have Fire as a starting roster member. We have rival teams in the Western Conference, and either team has 1 player from B&B on it. I just found that kind of weird when I thought about it now. It's kind of strange.
I mean, it is strange, but it's not surprising, right? I mean, they're 2 quality players, and of course they play for some of the top teams. Their talent brings that into the fold, and when you surround them with players like T-Bates, low-tech, Sharp, and for Arizona, they're such quality teams. It's kind of a no-brainer that they're kind of ruling the West. And I would kind of like to see. I wish that LSU was considered an East team, just so we could see that Akron LSU matchup kind of battling it out in the East. But
that would certainly be interesting.
But you've got a lot of great teams in the West, which makes it a really fun conference for that top kind of like 4 or 5 spots. And we've seen a lot of really good games. But the cool thing about this purple team, that they are, like you said, quote unquote, the B team of LSU. They've not played like a B team, right? They're 8-5 on the season. I don't think we've mentioned that enough. They're 8-5, and they're going up against LSU here. Most likely will drop this one, go down to 8-6. They've got UT Arlington as their final game of the season, but at the very least, they have an over 500 record, and they've beaten teams that are quality teams. And it's cool. I hope that they do well in the playoffs and really prove that they're a team to take seriously, because there are a lot of good players.
And Kerwin's gonna pick up one here off the side wall, and I think I'm gonna agree with you, Hunted, because I mean let's think about this, just from a different way. Okay, we're not trying to validate LSU Purple as a quote unquote B team, as much as we should really think about the fact that there are only 16 teams that even qualify out of the entirety of the Western Conference, which encompasses basically everything west of the Mississippi River, if I recall correctly. That is a lot of schools. There are so many talented players and rosters out there, and it's honestly impressive that LSU was able to get 2 squads in there. So this roster, clearly nothing to laugh about, and they actually maintain the lead right now with about a minute gone.
And they got that early strike, and guess who it was? Kerwin.
Yep, of course.
Has all the goals for this purple squad in the series, and the only goal that matters in this game as well. We'll see if Wojtek can play this out in front. T-Bates just waiting. Sharp got the demo, but a solid play defensively. Here comes Kerwin again. T-Bates hits that off his own back wall. That'll be played away. So solid defensive play, but making it interesting are the boys in purple. We'll see if they can maintain this lead. T-Bates trying to bait out a defender, not going to work, and they will find the clear.
Yeah, LSU Purple keeping on this attack. A minute 50 gone. And actually, one of our production members let me know that it's also not only impressive that LSU Purple made it into the top 16 in the league play, but they're also presently in the top 8 and looking at a playoff spot as well. 2 LSU teams in that area. And well, honestly, LSU Purple's making a run back here actually a little bit.
I would like to see, because LSU's not the only team. Well, that's a good touch from T-Bates. Just gets out around Riptide. Got to acknowledge that we're tied up at 1. But I would like to give kind of a mission to our production team with the final 240 of this game and potentially the next 2. There are more than 1 B quote-unquote teams. Cal Poly, for instance, comes to mind. They have an A and a B team. And how are the other pairs doing? I think LSU are the only school that has both in playoff contention at the moment.
That does sound rather reasonable, I think. So, yeah, that's something to investigate. But let's get back into this game, actually, because, the first 2 didn't exactly look close, but this one definitely is. We're past the half, and it's still a tie game. And, of course, as I say, oh, no, Sharp actually missed out on that one. Forgive me for assuming. I don't think I was necessarily in the wrong for assuming that
Sharp
was going to score on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
My goodness. Either way, LSU Purple is still tied up now within 2 minutes.
This one's going to come down in front, and yeah, Sharp certainly going to want that shot back, but he'll play it along the end while there. Kern trying to turn it away. T-Bates out in front. Low Tech scores. LSU Gold battle their way back. They're up 2-1 now with 1:43 to go.
And honestly, I kind of regret saying anything because it's the classic. Yeah, you get the idea. Caster's curse already going on there. Quick pass out in front, though. I mean, it makes you wonder. The defenders were so quick, acquiring that pass out in the front, that it's almost kind of astounding that the LSU Gold team was able to actually get there before the defenders were, because they were on top of that hunted. They were not slow. They weren't slacking. They put their hearts and minds into that play. But it didn't work. And now they're trailing from behind again.
Yeah, they will have to play. 1 goal down. Final 80 seconds on the clock. Sharp getting bumped out of the way, but Low-Tech collects. He's got a one-on-one with Riptide. T-Bates in support. Doesn't get the touch. Sharp, the rebound goes high.
Uh-oh.
And now it's going to carry him back to the goal. Brig, slow roller. That's the first goal from an LSU player not named Kerwin in the series. Well, that ties us up with 66 seconds to go.
And I have to say, you know, all of us recognize that kind of play that Sharp was in. When both your teammates are in front of you, you flick the ball up high and it hits the backboard, and suddenly there is nobody behind the ball in order to play defense for your team. But Sharp looking for that double tap, can't put it away. There's T-Bates for the follow, does not get an angle, but Low-Tech is there. And of course, they will end up getting that one through.
This is just a great touch from Sharp. I don't know if he knows T-Bates is to the left side of the goal there or not, but it certainly looked like he did. That was a wonderful pass right to T-Bates, who hits it off the back wall for his teammate in Low-Tech to score and puts them up by a goal. Only 55 seconds to go. This could be a sweep here if Purple can't respond.
They have put up a significant effort this game regardless. They're still trying. Kerwin now up for this one. Does get it past one. There's Sharp though. Coming out of the corner. Brig gets a touch. That one is a massive hit. And now Brig off the... Kerwin taking the pass from Riptide off the back wall, and they tie it up.
This looks like a misplay from Low-Tech. From T-Bates. I don't think he reads this well, and Low-Tech just caught in no man's land. Can't really turn on that one. So 3-3, 34 seconds to go. Game number 3. We'll see if we find overtime or if one of these teams will break the tie before we get there. T-Bates and Sharp come together to make this play. Low-Tech looking for the play out in front. Kerwin into the corner. We'll take it away from Low-Tech. Down in front. Good touch from Sharp there. And now Brig towards the net. T-Bates to clear. Riptide wants to keep it in. Has Kerwin there. T-Bates will challenge. This is an opportunity. Low-Tech up. Will take the shot. Almost deflected in. What a save from Brig on the goal line. Still not out of danger yet. T-Bates collects. He's got Low-Tech there in support. Looking for the shot out in front. Still there, but it hits, and it's overtime.
That was a close call indeed. T-Bates right there looking to put his opponents away. And now he might still... Oh my goodness, T-Bates! What was that? The helicopter freestyle hits him with the roof of his car towards the ground. My goodness. This is the cook zone, ladies and gentlemen.
The tacos, so delicious. Right there at
Tacos
the end
everywhere.
as well. My word, what a game. Wonderfully played by both teams. Eventually, it was boys in gold. LSU take the victory over top of LSU Purple. And that will conclude their season. They go out 14-1. The only game they've dropped this season, Squid, was to UNT. You've got to give it up to LSU. They have played a wonderful 2019 season here in the CRL.
No, I'm actually not going to give it up to them.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to.
That's my entire statement. I'm not saying no. In all reality, yeah, LSU. I mean, they've always been a strong roster. I mean, they've been a staple basically since the dawn of time. I mean, they've been around the CCA for God knows how long, and now they're making an impact in the CRL. And of course, they never really, got to land before. But I've got a good feeling about this season, Hunted. I will tell you.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, like I said, they finished 14-1 here. Game differential of 44-13. If you think about that, by number of series they've played 15 series, and they've only lost 13 games.
Which is 15 series, best of fives, math, 45 games that they had to win, right? No. Yes. No? No.
Oh my goodness.
Trying to figure this out. Anyways, you get the idea.
All I'm saying is that
they have not lost very many games at all.
They've lost less games than they've played series, which is quite the accomplishment, I think, for such a grueling season. 15 games over 3 weeks, it's tough for anybody. And they did quite well to take all of those victories. And I do just want to say I did give the production team a bit of a task, and they came back with some interesting results. I just want to go through this real quick. So LSU and LSU Purple, right? They are the B team, the A and B team that are both qualifying for the playoffs. There's Cal Poly A and Cal Poly B. Cal Poly B is sitting at 11-3 in the West, whereas Cal Poly A is 2-12. So Cal Poly A is kind of out. The B team should be in the playoffs. For Utah, they're 14th and 16th respectively. So, most likely both teams will miss out on the playoffs. Then in the East, the only B team is OSU. Their A team is in 9th, and their B team is, I believe, in 10th. So they still potentially have a chance to put both teams into the playoffs. But it just goes to show you that even if you qualify 2 teams, it's still difficult to make that top 8. LSU is doing it with both teams.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And actually, I will point out, Hunted, before you get too excited there, that both LSU teams have qualified, there are still 2 teams. 7th and 8th place could still surpass them, as well as UT Arlington. 7, 8, 9, and 10 could still surpass LSU Purple. So LSU Purple still have 1 game to play. If they can win it, then I believe they'll either clinch a spot or they'll get very, very close to clinching that spot. So,
well, it's also an important game for them as well because it's against UT Arlington, one of those teams that's looking for that spot. So
UTA currently sitting at 5-5, just outside of the top 8. Right.
Yeah, so it's an important game for both teams. LSU would certainly love to take that victory, but it's tight on both in both the East and the West. But again, wonderful play throughout the season from the whole of LSU. I really enjoyed watching them play. I can't wait to see the mark that they make in the playoffs. And you said it, they haven't made it to that, the LAN finals. I think this is the year, in my opinion, because they have looked on fire. If they continue that trajectory into the playoffs, it's not going to be easy, but I think they can do it.
All right, well, here's my argument, right? Because LSU, they never made it in the playoffs yet. They've made it into playoffs plenty of times, but they haven't made it to LAN. And one thing that they never really had before this season. It's not sharp. It's not their amazing team plays. Let me tell you, Hunted. It's the Cook Zone. They never had the focus that the Cook Zone provides. It's kind of like almost a mantra of sorts. It provides them with that focus. Just like they just get ready before a series. Just like, we're going to send our opponents to the Cook Zone, and then they just get on the field and they just absolutely smack them around. But in all seriousness, LSU now 14-1. They've clinched the number 1 spot. Everyone else has more than 1 loss in their series. So there you go. LSU is your number 1 seed out of the West. Unfortunately, we don't have any more games for tonight. I'd love to see some more action, but tomorrow is a new day and another day of CRL. So I'm excited for that. We're going to see OSU Scarlet once again, who did just win their game. They moved on to 7-6. If they can win their game tomorrow, then they'll move to 8-6, and then they got 1 more series to play where they could clinch a playoff spot.
Well, it was an exciting night. You said it. There's more action tomorrow right here on this channel, same time as tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Make sure you are here for that. It's the final league play day of CRL 2019. You're not going to want to miss it. And before we go, just want to give a huge shout out to, of course, my co-caster tonight in Squid, but also B-Dog on the broadcast, and Exotic and Veer, our 2 admins for tonight. You guys have done a wonderful job, not only tonight, but the whole season. And I thank you so very much. Thank you all very, very much for watching. It has been a wonderful season. I cannot wait for CRL 2020. This is it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. We are underway. Game number 1 between LSU Purple and LSU Gold, and Purple will take the first.
I think are we going to touch base on that now? Is it moral for teammates to put their own classmates in the Cook Zone?
Well, I mean, anything goes is low tech.
However, and will drop down the midfield line with about a minute gone.